Hello, my name is Jeff Clark. I am a school counselor. I've been a counselor for 11 years, and I am the proud parent of two wonderful kids. Today, we're going to talk about how to connect with your teenager with laughter. Laughter and humor are incredibly important for emotional health. Laughter improves health, strengthens shared connections and experiences, and creates positive memories. It also can reduce stress and anxiety about everyday challenges that we all experience. So, how does this work? There's actually science behind this. Everyone has a mix of chemicals in their body that make us feel sad, stressed, or anxious, even loving or happy. When you share stories and experiences that include humor and sadness, excitement, or anticipation, you can increase levels of certain chemicals that make you feel good. So these chemicals include, there's three chemicals. Dopamine is the first one. This chemical helps you experience feelings of pleasure and reward. The next is oxytocin. This hormone helps you feel love, generosity, trust, and well-being. The last one is endorphins. These hormones relieve some pain. They also reduce the amount of hormones that make us feel stressed. This means you might be able to feel less anxious or stressed when you laugh. This means that humor and laughter can help prevent feelings of anxiety and depression in your teenager and yourself. It can also help them cope if you're currently going through something hard, which can happen quite often. So today we will talk about how exactly you can do that in your relationships. Let's imagine that you need to have a conversation with your teenager and you know it's going to be really unpleasant, which happens often. The tone you set right off the bat is going to be really important. You can come in and say, "Get in here right now, we need to talk." This is often our default when we're stressed or upset. However, if you pause, you can bring some lightness to the situation. First of all, we might not even have to have a whole sit-down discussion about it. Sometimes you can playfully say something like, "If you don't take that trash out right now, it's going to grow feet and walk away." My daughter and I will sometimes work out our difficulties if we're getting on each other's nerves, where she'll say something and I'll repeat it back to her, and then she'll repeat it back to me, and we get faster and faster and louder until eventually one of us just says, "I win." And that's how we work through our difficulties, and then we can have our real conversation. Or sometimes, if I know she isn't paying attention, I'll throw in a nonsense word in the middle of my sentence to see if she is really listening or if she's able to catch it. So I'll say, "Maggie, have you fed the dog?" And she'll say, "Just one sec," which is her go-to, her statement. So then I say, "Maggie, have you fed the giraffe yet?" And I could yell in this situation, say, "Maggie, are you paying attention? You never listen." But this is a lighter way for me to accomplish the same outcome. Remember, our goal is to decrease stress hormones like cortisol and increasing bonding hormones like oxytocin. If we still need to have a long, more important conversation, we can still start it off with some humor or levity. For example, I might start with a silly joke like, "I know you love having serious conversations," but be careful that when you are trying to lighten the mood that you don't take it too far. Eye rolling is fine from you or them, and it's probably expected, but sometimes we can accidentally push too far when we think we're being funny. Newsflash, kids don't think that adults are funny. So watch for short one-word answers. "I don't care." "I don't want to talk about it." Or they might shuffle food around on their plate or not make eye contact. These are all cues that we need to slow down and back off. When they aren't responding to your humor, you can go one of two ways. Keep it light. Tell them, "Let me know when you would like to talk about it," and maybe set a time for them. Or if it seems like you've really pushed the limit, you can just apologize and repair. Clarify that your intent was to just lighten the situation and repair. Don't be afraid to apologize. We have a whole video about how to connect by apologizing that you can check out. In general, here's a good way to avoid hurt feelings. As much as you can, make yourself the focus point of the joke rather than making them the joke and laughing at them. Laughing at them doesn't help their self-confidence. It hurts them. So what do I do if I just don't know how to be funny? Different jokes will work for different age groups, and we have to consider every child's age level, maturity, and how serious they tend to be in general. But here are some ideas. So for an 8 to 12-year-old, they might love fart jokes, boogers if someone's getting hurt or hit below the belt, blowing their nose, or silly noises or faces. It can also be really fun to create a silly skit together. My daughter and I just filmed a video together over Christmas break, which was really fun. Starting around age 12, they still appreciate this kind of humor, but they're starting to figure out sarcasm and dry humor. You might need to make sure you're chuckling afterwards or smiling so they understand your intent. You might also try having a dinner where you have to rhyme everything you say, like, "Father, please pass the water," or where everyone has to talk in an accent. My wife is from England, so we often speak with British accents. As they get a little older, around age 16, the more you can focus on making fun of yourself rather than them, the more successful you'll be. So for example, say your son or daughter is wearing something that you find inappropriate. You could express to them, "Hey, if you just imagine me wearing the same thing, maybe that's not a great thing to be wearing." So it's totally normal if all they do is roll their eyes at you. But really, if you're losing your dignity to find your child, then that's a really good rule of thumb. Okay, so what if you're still stuck? You're just introverted or feeling low energy or like you're not very creative and you don't know how to make jokes. If you're just starting to try to connect with your kid and you feel awkward and you may not get any engagement, your child just isn't used to being interacted with in this way. So be patient as you build that kind of relationship. It's a process. And remember, most importantly, the point is to have a shared experience that makes you both feel good. It doesn't have to look a certain way or feel a certain way. And so some ideas that don't require you to think quick on your feet, you can make average activities silly. For example, try this dinner time activity. Invite each person to share something that went wrong with their day. And then everyone says a ridiculous solution. For example, you say, "Today, my boss told me I was in trouble for not getting my report in on time." And the kids could say, "You should have thrown a pie in his face." Or, "You should have blasted out on a rocket ship." You can use technology. One of my nephews and I communicate strictly using GIFs. We don't text or talk, we just share funny pictures and communicate that way. TikToks are great for this too. Remember when you were a kid and you used to sit around and watch America's Funniest Home Videos? This is the same kind of shared experience. In summary, learn to let go of your inhibitions so that your kid can see a different side of you. This brings out natural joy and humor and laughter, which invokes those chemicals in your brain. Most important, then they learn that connecting with others is safe and enjoyable. Isolation is the worst thing you can have happen to any person. Your thoughts can drag you down if you don't have that connection. When we learn to connect with others, we learn from their example of how they work through their own problems. We know we have someone to talk to who can reassure us that we're doing better than we actually thought.